What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Unraveling. This is episode 10. I'm your host, Wano, and I'm here today with
Judith
and
IVARI.
And today's topic will be toxic relationships. So, as we all know, everyone has either been through a toxic relationship, seen people been in a toxic relationship, or even heard about it. So, I have a few questions for all of us today, and we're going to see what we think is toxic and what is not considered toxic. So, the first question we have today is, how do you consider a person who is a tóxico or a tóxica?
I guess it depends on the person, right? I mean, there's like different layers because there's like the physical layer, the emotional layer, and then there's also like, you know, like when someone's like manipulating you, they're also doing like mentally, basically like toxic. So, I think it depends.
Do you think both female and male could be toxic?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. What about you? What would you consider someone who is a tóxico or a tóxica?
I mean, I guess like some things, like to be more specific, I guess some things would be like someone who like they'll call you like all the time just to check up on you, to be like, oh, are you there where you told me? Or like I've seen it like now, like from like controlling. Yeah, that's the word. Like they control you, like, oh, like sometimes they'll just randomly like, oh, like, hey, like I just want to know what you're doing, but like they are just checking up on you. Like that's really toxic. Like,
Here, do you think both male and female could be toxic, or is it always
definitely. Yeah, no, I feel like both. I've seen both situations with like females and like guys. And I'm like, females could be toxic.
You know what, so I think kind of going off of what you said, where it's like, you know, like I like sometimes it's kind of understandable. I think there's also like I think we're talking like externally toxic, but there's also like internal toxicity with people. So like even like if you're in a relationship but you're the one that's insecure, you're the one that's like kind of questioning everything, I think that's also like you know, obviously like internally. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I think it could be like, sometimes you could be very selfish. Sometimes you could be like you don't even have to like do something to your partner, but the fact that like you won't open up, I think that's also like kind of internally toxic, where it's like, you know, because maybe the other person's trying their best. Yeah. And then it's like, you're just not. Yeah.
I 100% agree with both views. I feel like it does come with someone who's controlling, as well with insecurities play a big way. Honestly, it's someone who controls someone and holds someone back from like getting to their full potential. That's the way I see it. That's what with toxic. I feel like toxic could come in different shapes, forms, and sizes, and from any people too as well. Right now, when I Google toxic relationship, the definition is a toxic relationship is one in which two people don't communicate or relate in one another in healthy ways, and where conflict easily arises. So, what do you guys think of that? Do you feel like that's a good definition for what a toxic relationship could be like?
I think it's an indicator, probably, right? If you're not like, if you're, you know how like they say like, oh, think like, are you happy most of the time, or are you like, you know, unhappy most of the time? I think that's kind of like where you kind of get a sense of whether you're in a toxic relationship, because if you're fighting like every other day, then maybe like, all right, something's not working in the relationship.
And like in the thing, it sounds like in a healthy relationship, that's what it is. Like you're literally in an unhealthy relationship. Like.
And I have a question for both of you, because I'll even be a victim of it. Do you guys feel like toxicity is attractive? Do you feel like it's just them showing the love, or you feel like it's just overdoing it and overstepping it?
See, I think there's a difference between like toxic and unhealthy. Like, so toxic and unhealthy, but then there's like the regular, you know, like everybody has those moments where they're gonna be jealous. You know, you might feel like, whoa, maybe, you know, like you're not comfortable with your partner, you know, being around a specific person or something, you know, like there's like stuff like that. But I think it's like when it's unhealthy, it's like on a different level. It's like, you know, like kind of like Judith said, like you don't trust anybody, like you don't trust your partner with anybody. And that's like, okay, like it could be them, right? Like sometimes, right, like it's the person that's the problem, like, but then at the same time it's like, all right, but is it them or is it just like, you know, so I think it depends, like,
I hear you. What about you?
No, I agree, because I just feel like from personal experience, yes, I have been with somebody who was toxic, very toxic. And the thing is, like,
yourself have been toxic, or like
no, like somebody who was toxic,
okay.
like towards me, like, right? They were, yeah. And the thing is, that family would also like mention, like, how like he's toxic, like that. That's not good.
Other
It's
people
yeah.
pointed it out to you.
Then that's how like I'm like down, like, all right, like, yeah. But you know, love is blind sometimes, so you don't pay attention.
Facts, 100%. I feel like Ivari says, it plays into like two different types. Like, yeah, you'll have a person who's really wants to know like what's up with you every day and shit like that. But then there's a difference from being insecure with that, where like you guys said, we check in. I also feel like it could be turned into abuse later on, to like mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, because now you're fucking with their mindset. And it's just like, bro, what the fuck? Like, do you like me or you don't like me that you gotta find out, like, what's up with me and shit like that?
Yeah.
I do see, like, the saying where, oh, it ain't funny being toxic comes a long way. I hear you, don't get me wrong. It's a little spice or whatever, but I feel like it's just, I don't think it's right for someone to be toxic and trying to, like, destroy someone they love or hold back from people they love and shit like that.
Technically, I feel like I've been in, like, 2 toxic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Even though one of them technically doesn't count. But, like, you know what I mean, right? Like, so I think it does affect you, because maybe some of them don't affect you as much. Mm-hmm. But, like, one of them definitely does, because it's, like, it makes you question a lot of things. You know, it makes you a lot more, like... So, for me, it's like, okay, I can't be as vulnerable. I can't be as open. I can't be as forgiving. You know, like, it changes how you receive someone else. So it's like they might be trying to show you like affection or something, but you know,
you're not used to it.
Now you're on guard, or you're not used to it. But like, it does like make a difference, because now you're like questioning not only what you're doing but what they're doing. Like, oh, is this genuine? Is this, you know, coming from a good place? You know, like, is this okay? Like, you start becoming more aware of stuff. So it definitely like plays a role, like, in your other relationships.
Yeah, I 100% believe in that, because like with a new relationship, when I started and shit like that, like, I was already ready to guard myself up. Oh, I fucked up, you fucked up, what do you mean, blah blah blah, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a quick reaction, you feel me? And that was the thing. And like, for me personally, I feel like it was just like something that was just dwelled in my shit, that was just like, no, like, everyone's gonna be like this, I gotta be defensive. Like, I felt like it made me more defensive and more guarded than being like, nah, like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, now I'm just like, okay, I hear you, instead of being like, what, this not about, like, I was looking for chaos, because I thought chaos was gonna come my way when it came to a relationship with that shit.
It's
personally.
like you're making your own drama.
Yeah, and then that's when I sit there and I'm just like, maybe I'm the problem, like. But then it's just like, no, it's just like old reactions from the past. It's just like triggers that's like, oh, you've been here before, but it's not the same storyline how it was before.
I think also, like, depending how long you're in that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, like you said, like, it starts becoming, like, normal to you. So you start to adapt, and, like, you just start reacting instinctively instead of, like, you know.
Yeah, without thinking it through.
So instead of thinking it through, it just, like, comes automatically. And I think that also happens if you're in that relationship for a longer period of time. Then that probably, like, would also affect, like, how you react. Yeah.
What about you?
No, yeah, I agree with that. And I guess I'm also talking about that, like, sometimes for your next relationship, when you are dealing with somebody who's not toxic, you're like, oh, like,
this is different. What the fuck?
Like, hold on, like, what is this? Where am I?
Yeah, where am I? I like it here.
I like it here. So it's a little, like, different. It might be hard for you to adjust, because you're so used to, like, dealing with people, like you said, right? Like, having your guard up with people like that. And then you go into a place when the person's not toxic, and it's like you said, right? Am I the problem? Like, like, you start, like, rethinking your decisions. So yeah, that definitely, I agree. It does affect.
That's so real. That's so real. Like, for me, I mean, like, now I'm married, obviously, but like at the beginning of my relationship, it was so different. So different. And it felt weird. And then eventually, like, okay, like for example, right? I think this one comes up a lot. I hear about it a lot, like, where it's like, okay, like, if you're with your significant other, like, do you share each other's, like, phone passwords, right?
Oof.
Like, you know, like,
Okay.
because normally, especially, like, you know, like, Latinos, like, I don't know. You know how, like, they have those shows where, like, they'll be on the streets and they're like, oh, like, can we open your phone? Can we look through your phone? Like, you know, here's, like, $300 to go through your WhatsApp or whatever. And then it's like, so internally, right? Like, at least for me, yeah, like, I would have never, ever wanted to have the other person's password. And I would have never given them my password. Not because I'm hiding something, but more because I'm like, once we cross that line, there's no going back. You can't unsee or unknow something.
You see, I was in a relationship back in the day, bro, and like this person knew my password, knew everything and shit like that, but I couldn't know their shit. I wasn't allowed to. So this is where my next question comes into play. Unless you want to put any input of what she said. So here comes the next question I had to say. Do you think a person turns tóxico and tóxica when they're doing something behind your back already, or did something behind your back? That's why they're acting like this, because they're insecure that you're probably doing the same shit now.
It could be. Like, I think it could be. Because, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like the guilt or something that like would probably make them like obsess a little bit over it, right? It's because you don't want to get caught, right? But then you're thinking like, wait, if I'm not getting caught, then like maybe he's not getting caught, like vice versa. Right?
That's the way I used to see it, bro. I was like, "Oh, you sneaky, bro. You sneaky."
Yeah, it just depends how confident you are, I think, in what you're doing. Like, because some people, bro, they could play it off. Like, I mean, just. Like, it just blows my mind because think about it, right? Like, how many times have you heard that, like, X person had, like, 2 families? Yeah. Like, living a double life. And, like, you literally just, like, question, like, how did nobody
find out or notice it?
How did neither one of those other, like, people know that this person was, like, jumping back and forth?
I guess it also has to do with, like, gaslighting people.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, that... Yeah, that has a lot to do with it. It's like, and it's like that, right? Like, the whole thing, like, you start acting, like, different, like, very defensive when anything happens, like, just because, I guess, you're scared that you're gonna get caught. So you try to be like, no, like, if you're assuming that, then you're doing it too, right? Like, you turn it around and them. It's like, what?
Weren't you just doing it, though? Like, hold on, like... I'm chilling at home. What the fuck is you really doing, bro? I hear on that shit. Do you feel like how you mentioned going through people's phone, do you feel like no matter what, you'll always find something in someone's phone that's going to hurt your feelings? My saying is, like, the more you look, the more you'll find something that you're not going to like and will make you unhappy and you hurt your own feelings. Do you feel like that's true?
I think it's true. So, here's the thing, right? Because I think, you know what I think is true is that you know when something's off. Like, you get some sort of feeling, right?
I have dreams. I have dreams.
Well, you can have dreams, or some people just, like, you just, like, something changes. Something always kind of gives you that, like, hey, like, maybe there's something there, right? And I think that's when you're mostly afraid, because it's like, okay, like, once you actively start looking, then it's like, okay, like, what am I, like, you're gonna find something, right? And then it's like, what do you do then? You know, like, you can't take the cat out of the box and then just pretend it don't exist. Like, so, I don't know. For me, it's like, I did think that way. Like, obviously, like I said, like, I would have never thought, like, oh, like, I'm gonna share my password with somebody. Yeah. Because that felt very personal. Yeah. But then when someone else is like, well, like, why don't you want to share? And I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. So, but like you said, right, it feels like so unordinary. It feels not normal. And then you're like, okay, like, then maybe I'm the problem, right? So then, but yeah, like, and then you eventually get used to it. But then I think that's also, like,
I feel like that turns into toxicity later on, because like I feel like since you already know someone's looking through your phone, you're not gonna be able to do what you really want to do, like have right conversations, Google some shit, listen to music or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I mean, I would have thought. Yeah, I did like think that, but also it's like, you know, sometimes like you just like, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna look something up, but like maybe like my phone died or something, and I'm just gonna reach for his phone, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like we tend to think of it in a very toxic way, but like there are healthy ways to go about it. Yeah. So not just because you share something means that like you don't trust the person, or like you have to go looking through, like, you know, if you feel like you have to go looking,
there's something there.
There's something there, right?
Okay.
Like, but if you don't, then I think it's like it's fine. It's normal, I guess. It's like, but also like each couple has their own.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone has their own boundaries. Everyone has their own like level of privacy. So like communication again, right? Yeah. Like you have to communicate with your partner. Like, oh, I'm not comfortable, and like why? Yeah. Like, you know, obviously you have to have like a valid reason. Like, so.
What would you consider? How do you think?
No, I agree. Like, I guess, you know, sometimes it's just like your intuition is like telling you like, damn, something's up. It's kind of like the whole like Shakira thing, you know, how like she felt like well with her thing, right, when she got cheated on and all of that, it was because in the house she realized that, I think was it the peanut butter or jelly, something like that. It was like missing. Well, it wasn't missing, pero alguien se lo estaba comiendo. And she knew that her husband did not like it at all. The kids weren't around, so she was like, hold up.
This is going to cheating, huh?
They were like, hold up, something's off. Like, and it's like, it's crazy. And it was just like, she realized that things were going on like that. So I guess it also has to do with just your intuition and stuff like that.
See,
so.
Yeah, like there's usually some sort of like spark that sets off, like, okay, like,
like things are
something's going on. Yeah.
I hear you. So since we spoke about certain things like iPhones and shit like that, have you ever been in a have you been the toxic one in a relationship? And if so, do you have any stories? You rolled your eyes. You felt that one. Today's chatting with IVARI.
Oh wow. I don't know. I need to hear more from you guys, because I feel like.
Okay.
I don't know.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first on that.
Okay. I honestly
like, do I consider that toxic? No. Like, I don't think I was toxic.
I think I was right, actually. That's some toxicity right there. I honestly feel like I became toxic after a person was toxic first. Like, I feel like, how can I explain it? Like, the time I was toxic was because I knew that person was doing something behind my back. So I literally was like a tick for tack person. I'm like, you gonna do that? I'm gonna do it 10 times worse. Shout out to my homie Future. You know what I mean?
You're that person.
With my Gucci flip flops on God.
You said eye for an eye.
Yup. That's how I became toxic. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like it was just going back and forth. There was times I'd be like, oh, like I said, insecurity plays a lot. That's the way I see. Like, I became toxic. I got insecure. I was like, oh, why is this person liking your picture? Oh, like, who you texting? Oh, who's this and that? Blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't like that at first, bro, until I got it done on me first. You feel me? I was like, why are you acting like that? I'm like, it's just a like, this and that. And like, a name that I hate so much, but they will call me that. It was like, I'm a friendly ass person. Like, oh, you a friendly ass? No. I was like, no, I'm not friendly. Like, oh, I'm just having regular conversations. Like, that's just a friend, or like, that's this and that. That's the only time I would be toxic. What about you guys? She's like, damn, shit.
I don't know, friendly thing.
She's like, I have some thoughts on that.
Go ahead. I'll rebuttal. Give me some questions. Spice it up.
Well, like, okay, like, are you, because so your personality.
Okay. Scorpio.
Is normally friendly, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But like, I guess here's where it comes in, right? Mm-hmm. Like, especially when you get into a relationship, I think like, at some point you have to also like consider like, okay, this is my personality, but if you're like starting to date somebody, if you're starting to like, you know, meet this person, it's like, I think there should be a place where you question like, is it okay for me to be friendly? Like, especially like early stages, right? Like, yeah, you could be friendly, but like, you don't have to be that friendly. You know what I mean? Like,
damn. So I'm friendly. Damn, guys, you heard it here first. I'm a friendly ass.
Just in general, there's like certain things I was like, all right, I get your personality, but it's like a little too friendly, my friend. Like you giving off a different vibe right now. But I guess it just depends too, like what kind of vibe you're going with. Because there's certain. It's like I'm not saying because of you. I'm just saying in general. Like it's like people.
The other person could take it like they could feel it like as a different vibe.
Yeah.
And if they take it that way and they're like going and then you start going because you're friendly.
Okay.
And it's like okay, now they're reciprocating and then it's like.
And it's like you're just there like
This is awkward.
hello.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I should see that was my toxic trait.
No, I just think like it happens to like you know.
Best of us.
It happens to everybody, I think, right? Like some part of you, like maybe like you've messed up here and there, right? But like yeah, like I think
We both messed up in that relationship. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
you know at that point, you know it is what it is.
Facts.
But,
What about you?
I
Have
thought
you
I
ever been
answered
toxic
already.
in a
Oh, I
relationship?
didn't. Oh yeah, I forgot that I brought it back to you. I mean, I feel like the same thing that like you said, right? When the person was toxic to you, you like you were it's like you returned it, like it's like I mean you were toxic too, right? Like I could do the same thing,
Right.
but I don't feel like it's not that you're just being toxic. It's just I don't know. I feel like there's a term for that, but it's not coming to my head right now.
Like explain, like try to explain. Like
It's just like it's not like that you're trying to be toxic. I guess you're just trying to match their energy, really. Like that's what it is, right? Like, huh?
Matching energy go crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. So it's like, all right, like you want to be like that? I could do the same thing. Like two can play this, bro. Like I feel like that's just what it is. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that's I don't know. I guess I at least didn't see it as me being toxic. It's just like, bro, I could do the same. Let me show you, and you won't realize it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's interesting. No. No, I was gonna say I was like I don't want to go off topic and like avoid the question, right? But like so here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like okay, let's say you're in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the person you're in a relationship with cheated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you go and cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Is your cheating still cheating?
I feel like this is where it comes from. This is what I was gonna mention you guys
This
before.
is something that came up.
You want to be
And,
100 on me?
Yeah, go no. for
Me
real, go ahead,
100%. You cheat on me, I'm cheating on you 10 times worse. It'll be with your friend, cousin, or whatever.
But
But
do
I'm
you still consider
that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna see that we're even at that point. But if you think you're gonna up me again, I'm gonna up you again too. Cause like, nah, bro. Like you got your body, you have your shit, you got your needs. I'm doing people like I was the type to do it out of anger. You feel me?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you did that? I bet I could do that too. But deep down, I didn't want to do it. I was just like, oh, like, ew, really? I put myself to it. But I would see it as like tick for tack. Now, for example, if it's me who did it first and my shorty does that, that's gonna hurt me more. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's the person who does it first is always gonna hurt more. Cause like if I did it and then she does it, I'm gonna be hurt. Cause I'm like, damn, like I really fucked up that bad. She had to go get it from someone else. So like when it's the female, do females really feel like when they cheat first and they do it, the man does it after? How do they feel? Do they really give a fuck? Like, have you guys ever been in that scenario where
What do you mean?
they like you cheated first and then they cheated after?
No, I haven't. No.
No?
I'm telling you, it depends on who you are.
Yeah, my relationship was crazy, bro. Shit, we was just going back and forth, no cap. It was horrible. That shit was toxic.
No, because okay, so that's one question that like, especially like before, like I would always say like I cheated, right, in like one of my relationships, but then the consensus around like everyone was like, nah, if they cheated first, that's not cheating. Like, you know, like the relationship was over at that point, basically, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, okay, like I see that. But I'm like, okay. Like now I'm kind of like, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like,
do you feel like you could redeem yourself after it though? Can a relationship be fixed, or is it already ruined? Like, does it turn toxic from there?
I feel like if you had to go, like you said, right? If you have to go to somebody else to look for like whatever, it's like you did it for a reason. You're not happy, or you're just not pleased with what you had, and you went looking for somewhere else. Or maybe if you did it because the other person cheated, it's like then you didn't know the person's worth because you went and cheated with somebody else. So it's like,
Agree.
Whatever. So I feel like you can't really, there's no point on trying to fix it. Like, you should just let it go at that point.
That's true.
Vari, do you know, like, what do you think?
I mean, I know couples that have like, you know, like even like been like 20 years married and like, you know, had a cheating issue, whatever, and then like some of them still make it through, right? In my personal opinion, like for me, that's my deal breaker. Because like you said, right, like obviously something was not meeting your expectations. You weren't happy, you weren't being fulfilled. For me, that's just a deal breaker, because if you can't be, you know, like if I'm not giving you what you want, then I'd rather just call it quits.
Exactly.
Like I would rather just find the right person. That's my thing. That I don't want to be with someone just to like try to make it work. Like I want someone that's like feeling me and I'm feeling them.
Okay.
And it's like cheating, I feel like there's so many steps that gets you to that point, especially when it's like physical. And I know like a lot of times like maybe physical isn't as bad as, you know, like emotional. But I think either way it's like they're both equally bad.
Yeah.
So for me it's like no matter which way it goes, it took a lot. You know, it wasn't just something that happened. It's never something that just happened. Like, so for me it's like, okay, like something was missing before that and you just didn't want to address it, and therefore I just rather walk away. Like, you know, like I need to respect myself, and I need to like also consider myself. So, more than anything. So.
I hear you on that shit. So here comes to my next question. Why do you think people stay even after that to try fixing that relationship?
It depends, I guess. You know, like I said, like, I mean, it could be like a boyfriend, girlfriend, like trying to work it out, still make it. If they feel like it's worth saving the relationship, then by all means. Sometimes it's more complicated, I guess, because, you know, once you have like kids and I don't know, whatever, shared pets, I don't know, who knows, right? Once you have something that's like, you know, like that you're both sharing, I feel like it's harder to just call it quits. So I think a lot of people tend to usually put that as a reason, like, oh, well, I'm gonna keep trying for my kids or whatever, you know.
I agree with that. I feel like people think like they're just in too deep, or they don't want to start over with someone else again, or it's either they're just like they know they won't find something better, or they just think this is it. I honestly feel like at one point I felt that point, and I was like, I'm in too deep. Oh, this is like the only person that understands me. This and that. No one else is gonna see it. But like I feel like it's never too late to pull out. If you're like really unhappy, bro, like I'm not gonna lie, when I cut whatever the fuck I had going on, literally I felt all the pressure that was on my shoulders go away. Like that saying, like, yo, like I felt like I could breathe is like, bro, like I felt like I could breathe. Like I'm with this person, yeah, blah blah, we're great and everything, but 2 minutes later I'm just like I can't breathe. Like your presence, your energy is just putting me down. Like it's bad, and then it starts to change me as a person, which I was just like, nah, this is not me no more. So I feel like people stay because, like what you said, everyone feels like it's too deep. They're too deep into it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, like it's either your health, like your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health, or everything else is just going to deal with it, and everything else is going to fall with it.
Yeah. I think also what I would say adds on to that is like, in a way, societal pressure. You know, like because kind of like you said, right? Like it's one thing if you start saying like, oh, I can't do better. You know, like, or maybe I'll find worse, and it's I think it's kind of like that. Because I feel like a lot of people tend to look down on you or tend to like be happy that like it didn't work out for you. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like, do I really want people to see me like that? And then like, you know, obviously, like, who are you gonna meet? Most of the time, like, you want, like, if you're not dating online, you're gonna be dating within like your circle, I guess, you know. So it's like, but everybody already knows.
Everyone knows
like,
each other.
And it kind of like puts you in that mindset, like, well, I'm not gonna find anything else. You know, like. So I don't know. I think
I guess it also has to do with like you knowing your self-worth. Like, I feel like a lot of, I mean, you know, from personal experience and like being in like a toxic relationship and stuff like that, like you learn after that and like, no, like I'm worth more than that. Like, I shouldn't have to deal with a toxic person. Like, let me love myself first before I have to like deal with that again. So it's like it has to do with that too. It's like you learn to basically, it's like putting yourself first. It, you know, for some people it might be like you said, right, like society and stuff like that. Like they might be like, no, like you need a man to like be happy and something like that. It's like, no, like I can make myself happy. Like I can provide for myself. Like I know that I can do this without a man, like, and it's fine, but, you know, eventually in life, you meet your partner, like, it's like, but it's like, don't rush it, like, find the person that's gonna, you know, fit you, like, that's gonna make you happy, and don't, like, honestly, don't feel forced to deal with somebody toxic, like, I agree. It's not worth it. You're just damaging yourself. And that's the tip of the day. No. That's the tip of the day.
Okay, so do you guys think that... How do I put this? Okay, let's say this. So let's say, like, you're in an unhealthy relationship and the other person is being unhealthy. You know, they're being toxicos, whatever.
Toxicas too.
Or toxicas.
Yeah.
So... would you say it's okay for you to be toxic, like to reciprocate, basically? You know how you guys say like
it's not okay,
but it's like let's leave like cheating aside. Let's say like, you know, like you mentioned, right, like gaslighting, right?
Yeah.
And like let's say like they're doing it to you, and then you're like, you know what, like I'm gonna do it back, like
yeah.
Like, do you think that's okay? Like.
I just feel like it's just people trying to fight for the pride again, like to get it back. Like, oh, you think you could do me like that? Yeah. Fuck that. I'm gonna show you wrong. Like, I'm gonna show you different. And then it just becomes a repeated cycle over and over and over because everyone's gonna just be ready to hurt the next person. And like, I don't know, bro. It's just like, I don't think it's right. Like I said, like it's never too late to back up. If you're willing to put your mindset into hurting somebody that you so-called love. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck are you still dealing with it? You know what I mean? Like, I even told myself, I'm like, if I really love this person, why are we doing this back and forth to each other? Yeah. Like, this is not it. So, at that moment, like the saying, at the moment it was worth it, but at the end it was not. Comes a long way into that shit for me. Like, I was like, at the moment, yeah, I enjoyed mad good memories with you, but in the long run, was I really happy? No, like I lost myself. You know what I mean?
Felt that.
Taking a drink for that, guys. Quotes by Antoine.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Like, definitely, I feel like it's not good because it's like, why stay with somebody that's like that? Why? I guess in the beginning you might, you know, act a certain way, like just to get them back. I guess it's for revenge. Yeah. That's really it. Same thing, like for like your pride. Like you're like, no, I'm not gonna let this person tell me that, like, no. So I feel like it's really just about that. But no, it's not okay. I guess you learn. Like, eventually when you... It's like, was it... Honestly, I feel like sometimes, yeah, it is worth it. But it's not okay. It's like, it shouldn't be. But I mean...
What's done is done, hey.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
What about you? What you think?
I think if the scenario is getting revenge, I think go for it. Go crazy.
Oh, jeez.
She said revenge is
Revenge is sweet.
Revenge is sweet.
Just think it through first. Like, make sure you plan that out. Like, you know.
I'm sure it's worth it.
Word. Make sure
Make
it's
it
worth it.
good.
I feel like you're gonna do it with someone. You're gonna revenge someone. Make sure it's somebody who's better than that person, or like it just shows like, yeah, I could go fuck with this if you really want me to. Like, you know what I mean? That's just me being toxic, as you see. Yeah. So the next question, which might be the final question, purple minion if we didn't. Have you been in a toxic relationship? If so, how long?
Like, yeah, it's way too long. I should have cut it way before that.
I think I've been in one toxic relationship, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I would say two, but the second one we weren't really in a relationship. But
It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
it is complicated. You know what? This is complicated. These relationships. Listen. So I think one of the things is like when you're young, you think like certain things are okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might not be, but you're young, so you know you're.
That's what you thought, yeah.
Yeah, but I think for me, honestly, my very first like relationship that I had, I guess. I mean, the guy was like 5 years older than me, and that's actually very common. Like, like I was like 14, he was like.
Oh no, mine wasn't
18.
like that. Mine was
like,
not like
you
that.
know what I mean? But it tends to be very common, like at least from what like other experiences that I've heard. And
yeah, I seen a lot
it
of
made me
dudes
feel
like
not
that.
so bad anymore.
I felt like that was a power trip, low key power trip type shit.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, obviously the person that's older, it's always like, damn, like
You know what you're doing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I think it's like it really taught me a lot, you know, especially being the first time that I was like, I had feelings for somebody that, you know, like it even made it into something. And I think it like comes into play, like age comes into play a lot when we're dealing with like toxic relationships, because obviously you know how to be more toxic than I do.
Yeah.
I think when there's like a significant age gap, like there's always room for them, like they have, like you said, like they have more power. There's always room for them to like manipulate you. There's always like room for stuff like that, especially if you haven't fully like grown, you don't know better, basically. Right? I guess I'm not saying you don't know better, but like most of the time we ignore a lot of things, you know.
You just didn't have the experience from it like they did. Yeah. So
it's like I think that was mainly like my toxic relationship where I learned to be toxic because it was like at the end, you know, like it was really toxic, like so I think like that was when I really saw the uglier side of me, like you know, in a way I'm kind of glad that it came out, because it's like, you know what, this boy shouldn't have been playing with you in the first place. But yeah,
facts. Fuck that guy.
Not even a boy technically, but you know, whatever,
A little ass
you know,
boy, kiss him in the forehead.
Yeah, he was a boy. Fuck that guy.
Sorry, that's my friend.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a relationship for, I want to say about like 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got out early.
I got out early.
Dumb early.
I really got out early. See, that's the thing.
Better. You were young.
You knew better.
Yeah, you knew way better.
Yeah, no, it was there's some interesting stories with that one, but
I hear you.
thankfully, like the thing that I am most thankful for is that, like, you know how sometimes they say, like, they put, like, people show up for a reason, like people are put in somewhere along the line, like they're put there for a reason.
Yeah.
Either they're a blessing or a lesson.
Like, you know what was the click for me? Where it was like, obviously your parents are going to tell you, like, it's not okay. Everyone's going to tell you it's not okay. But then there's always that, like, I feel like it always has to be, like, an outsider. Outsider that kind of puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, it was like, okay, I'm in high school. This guy's already working, whatever. But we actually had, like, I guess, like, a fight, right? Like, you know, like, we were quarreling, and we were in his car. And mind you, we were near my school. And I don't know how it happened. Like, I really don't know. But we were just there, and all of a sudden, like, knock, knock, knock. And it was a police officer. Yeah, this police officer, she came up to the car, and she was basically like, hey, like, what are you guys doing? And mind you, this is in the morning. It's like, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. And so she starts realizing, like, okay, like, what's going on here, right? And she starts asking, like, all right, like, how old are you? Like, you know, whatever. And so she gets all this information, and I'm over here like, okay, like, what's going on? And then she points, she's like, you do know she's a minor, right? And then I was like, holy shit, like, this is serious. Like, okay. And yeah, and she was actually, like, really nice to me. Like, she did not, but, like, she did not like him. She definitely did not like him. So, but yeah, I think that was what, like, made it click, where I was like, okay, like, this is legally not okay, first of all. And second of all, like, she was going off on him. She was not playing. She was not playing. So I think that really made me realize, like, okay, like, I felt like mama bear, like, energy from her, like, and I was like, okay, like, maybe this is not okay. Yeah.
Damn, I feel you, bro. Damn, you want to go next?
I mean, I answered, yeah, like, I was, and then for way too long, I should have ended it way before.
How long did you stay
with them? Before. I don't even remember, but it's a minute. Like, I'm telling you, Imari, that you got out early, girl. You got lucky.
Dumb late. I think I got out like...
And I think, like, another thing in our relationship, what played was also, like, the whole, like, like, in the Hispanic community, like, machismo. That had a lot to play with it. It's like, no, you're with me, and that's it. You can't be doing this. And it's like, boy, we're not even married. Like, we're not married. You're my boyfriend. That's it. We're not married. I don't care if you met my family. That's not, like, no. You're not gonna tell me what to do. Like,
no, little boy, kiss him on the forehead.
I'm gonna start using that, bro. For real? What are you, boss?
Honestly, yeah, I was in a relationship, a toxic one, for, like, I guess 4 years, low key. 4 years. Yeah, I was not lucky like you guys.
I got lucky, guys.
Honestly, like how you said it took someone from the outside to actually, like, be like, yo, bro, what the fuck is you doing? Like, for real, bro. Like, I had this manager who I worked with and shit like that, and she, like, she was like, she grabbed me one day, she's like, like, you're not happy no more. Like, everyone started to say, like, my personality just got dark, bro. Like, my shit got dark. My Eddie did told me straight up, like, you're not happy no more. Like, you don't seem like yourself. And I was just like, what do you mean by that? Like, I didn't understand it until, like, my boss lady pulled me in, because, like, I called her. I was like, hey, like, I just got arrested. I did some dumb shit because of a person. Like, this is not it. She pulled me into the side. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're willing to throw everything away that you're willing, like, you're building. Like, you have so much potential. Like, how are you going to have someone ruin your life and, like, make you be that stupid. Like, she told me, she's like, she manipulated you, bro. Like, she's manipulating you. She's like, this is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is not the third time. Like, when is the cycle going to stop? And, like, I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Like, friends told me that. Family told me that. Everyone told me that. Even a fucking cop even told me. Even a lawyer was like, this is not for you, bro. Like, you should just, like, move and leave. Like, this is not it no more.
He said move.
They were like,
Run.
Like, literally, I ran, bro. This is your sign, bro. This is literally, and like this whole shit, like how we talking about like why we working together and shit like that. I just like, honestly, like I look back and I'm just like, why they stay? Like, I see myself now just like, damn, bro.
Yes,
as a video said, as the video once said, the grass is greener, the sky is more bluer. It's not as dark as it used to be. It's not as gray. It's not as brown as it used to be. I'm just like, yo, facts. It's actually beautiful out here, bro. Like, I like to be outside. You know what I mean? Not be outside, but like I like feeling like I'm free. Like I have no boundaries on me. No one's holding me back. And I had the right people to support me instead of being like, the fuck is you doing? Like, that's stupid. That's this. Like, I feel like that just like burned me, bro. That burned me the fuck out so quick. So 5 years, guys. 5 years.
Damn.
Word.
Well, we made it out.
Word.
Surviving. Only the strong survive.
Survive the toxic relationship. But yeah.
It's true. But I think that's the thing, right? It's like, I don't know, like, however relationship works. Obviously, every relationship is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, for me personally, it's like, I was looking for that person to walk beside me. Not in front of me, not behind me. It's like, just, you know, you're equal. You're your partner.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why they call it a partner, right? Like, you guys are a team and everything. And, like, yeah, it takes some time to get there. You know, like, you obviously, like, every relationship, you have to work on yourself, and then they have to work on themselves. But I think it's like, you know, if that person's making you a better version of yourself and you're giving that person the same, like, I think you'll feel it and you'll know. And then it's like, yeah, the grass is greener on the other side.
Grass is green, the sky is blue. Word. 100%. Like, you'll know someone who's really there for you when you actually feel good about yourself. Like, for real. Like, me personally, I could compare both shit right now. I'm more happier than I could ever, like, actually think I was happy in the last 5 years, to be honest. And yeah, it's the beginning and shit like that, but, like, even in the beginning, bro, the first month and a half, we were already doing some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm just, like, I'm seeing how far we could elevate with certain people and shit like that. So, I like it like that. I'm good right now. You?
No, I guess it's, like, just about, you know, having a partner that you can, like you said, right, have them, like, a partner who even, like, just grow with them. Like, grow, that you can do stuff with them without them judging you, or even you doing stuff on your own with them, having somebody be like, no, you shouldn't do that, or like, no, you're not good at that, like, that's bad, like, but you need somebody who's gonna, like, let's do it together, we'll learn together. Yeah, exactly. Like, put your mind to it. Like, like, basically supporting you, like, or sometimes even guiding you, like, right, maybe sometimes you just need that little push, like, you need that little motivation from somebody,
someone to encourage you,
exactly. It's like, you know your potential, but sometimes you just need somebody to be by your side day to day to, like, just help push you.
You can always plant a seed, but it's like the care and the effort that really makes that grow. So it's like the same thing.
Final question. Let's get off a little bit of relationships. Do you feel like family and friends could be toxic?
Yes. That's a whole other topic. Family being toxic is a whole other conversation.
Stay tuned for episode 13, 14, or 15, guys, for that.
Vamos a pelear por los terrenos.
Woo! You're taking care of mom, not me. Fuck out of here now, I'm joking. Or dad. You're taking care of dad, too. Word.
Oh, no. But definitely, also friendship, like toxic friendships, that's all. I feel like, okay, like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you can end a relationship is bad, but if you end a friendship,
I think that hurts more. I'm not gonna lie. I dropped the toxic
Right.
relationship. That shit sucks. I'm just like, damn, bro. Like, was it
you
toxic?
Really knew, like,
Word, bro.
like
when it's that bestie,
Yeah,
the
bro.
one that you carved your name on your desk,
Yo.
or the chair.
Sheesh. No
All of a
comment.
sudden, you gotta go back and scratch it up.
Fuck that guy.
never.
That's not my friend. My friend would never. Oh, fuck. You been with my day ones. You ain't a day one.
Yeah.
Shit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic too.
Stay tuned for that one. No subs, just facts. But thank you guys for watching Unraveling. This is episode 10. The topic was toxic relationships. Let us know what was the one toxic experience you went through or moment, and how do you feel like you could escape a toxic relationship? Is it possible for you, or is it not? Or is it really worth dealing with and trying to hope that it becomes better? Do you guys got anything else to say?
Nothing. Just thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video.
Facts.
That's it.
Awesome, guys.
Follow us on our socials.
Facts. Stay tuned, guys. And this is episode 10 with Unraveling the Mind.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Deuce.